Beneath the glittering facade of the 41st millennium's vast empires lies an unforgiving world of endless labor and unrelenting sacrifice. The galaxy of Warhammer 40K is an unforgiving place where survival is purchased not with privilege, but with grueling work and unwavering obedience. Among the countless planets that dot the void, few represent this harsh reality as vividly as the mining colonies. These barren worlds and asteroid outposts are the lifeblood of the Imperium, their veins rich with ores, minerals, and exotic substances necessary to sustain the vast military-industrial complex of humanity. Without the raw materials wrenched from the bowels of these inhospitable places, the Imperium's war machines would grind to a halt and its endless crusades would falter. The lives of those who dwell on these colonies are defined not by their individual dreams or ambitions, but by their place in a grander, merciless mechanism. To many, the colonies symbolize the harshest extremes of the Imperium's iron grip, where human life is expendable yet utterly essential. It is here, in these hellish environments, that untold billions toil, far removed from the vibrant hive cities or the hollow pomp of Terra's gilded spires. These men and women are born, live, and die among machines, surrounded by choking dust, toxic air, and the deafening roar of extraction engines. The story of these mining colonies is not just one of industry, but also of endurance. It is a testament to humanity's unyielding will to survive and serve, no matter the cost. On these distant worlds where sunlight is a rare luxury and hope a fleeting illusion, communities carve out a semblance of existence amid the gloom. Yet their lives are governed by powers far greater than themselves. From the distant edicts of the Administratum to the merciless overseers of rogue trader conglomerates or mechanicum guilds, the fate of each colony is shaped by forces as vast and uncaring as the void itself. In a galaxy consumed by war and desperation, the mining colonies stand as a stark reminder of the Imperium's ceaseless hunger. Their resources fuel not only the war effort, but the very survival of mankind. But what price is paid for this lifeblood? What do the workers endure in their tireless pursuit of sustaining an empire that offers them little in return? These questions linger, haunting the minds of those who dare to glimpse the truth. This journey into the heart of the galaxy's mining colonies begins not with the glittering triumphs of conquest or the grandiose proclamations of the ecclesiarchy, but in the choking mines and perilous void stations. It is a story of human resilience and despair, of sacrifice and subjugation. As we descend into this world of dust and shadow, prepare to witness life at its most fragile and its most relentless. Mining colonies in the galaxy of Warhammer 40K are arenas of interaction between numerous key players, each with distinct roles and motivations. These entities, while diverse in their origins and methods, converge on these barren worlds with a singular purpose: the extraction of vital resources. From towering bureaucracies to shadowy operatives, the network of influence over these colonies is intricate and often deadly. At the top of the hierarchy stands the Adeptus Administratum, the Imperium's sprawling bureaucracy. Tasked with overseeing the distribution of resources and maintaining quotas, their edicts shape the daily lives of the workers. The Administratum's representatives rarely set foot on the colonies themselves, but dispatch orders and levy punishments for any failure to meet demands. Their presence is felt through the endless data slates, commands, and decrees that dominate life on these distant outposts. Closely linked to the Administratum are the trade cartels and rogue trader dynasties. These powerful merchant groups often secure contracts to exploit the resources of a mining colony. While the Imperium holds ultimate authority, these factions wield significant autonomy, managing operations, hiring workers, and ensuring shipments reach their destinations. Their motives are not purely imperial, but driven by profit, leading to harsh working conditions and little regard for the lives of those they employ. The Adeptus Mechanicus plays a vital role, especially on colonies rich in rare or technologically significant materials. The Mechanicum oversees the operation and maintenance of the massive extraction machinery, drilling rigs, and refining equipment essential to mining operations. Their tech priests, shrouded in mystery and ritual, are both revered and feared by the workers. They maintain a cold detachment, seeing the mines as a machine to be optimized rather than a community to be nurtured. Among the colony's enforcers are the Planetary Defense Forces and Arbites units. The Planetary Defense Forces provide security against external threats, such as Xenos incursions or pirate raids, while Arbites oversee law enforcement, ensuring the rigid order of the Imperium is upheld. Both groups maintain an iron grip over the workforce, ensuring obedience through the ever-present threat of violence. The mining guilds, often formed under the supervision of the Mechanicus or rogue traders, act as intermediaries between the overseers and the laborers. Guild leaders organize the workforce, assigning tasks, managing shifts, and addressing grievances, though always within the narrow confines allowed by their superiors. While some guild leaders advocate for their workers, most serve as little more than tools of control, focused on maintaining productivity above all else. On the ground level, the workers themselves form the backbone of these colonies. Drawn from various corners of the Imperium, they arrive through conscription, debt, or desperation. Their lives are shaped by grueling labor, hazardous conditions, and meager rewards. They are often organized into labor units, each responsible for specific tasks such as drilling, hauling, or refining. Despite their hardships, the workers create a fragile sense of community, often centered around shared traditions or whispered hopes of a better life. Another significant group includes the servitors, cybernetic constructs that perform repetitive or dangerous tasks. Stripped of individuality, they embody the dehumanizing efficiency of the Imperium. Their tireless efforts ensure that the mines remain operational, yet their presence serves as a grim reminder of the fate that awaits those who fall out of favor with the Imperium. Independent elements also find their way into the colonies. Criminal syndicates infiltrate these outposts, smuggling goods, running black markets, or engaging in sabotage to further their agendas. In some cases, they bribe officials or guild leaders to turn a blind eye, ensuring their operations thrive beneath the surface of rigid imperial control. The ecclesiarchy maintains a presence as well, ensuring that the faith of the workers does not waver. Priests and preachers lead rituals, deliver sermons, and enforce spiritual discipline. They instill fear of heresy and hope of salvation, using the Emperor's name to sustain morale or crush dissent. In the darker corners of the colonies, agents of the Inquisition occasionally intervene, searching for signs of corruption, heresy, or Xenos contamination. Their presence is often a death sentence for those who attract their attention, and their investigations bring fear and paranoia to even the most isolated outposts. Together, these factions and groups create a complex ecosystem, each contributing to the relentless cycle of extraction, control, and survival that defines life on the galaxy's mining colonies. Their interactions form a delicate balance, one where even a single misstep can cascade into disaster. The stakes are immense and the sacrifices are many, but in the Imperium, such costs are considered necessary. The existence of mining colonies in the galaxy of Warhammer 40K is deeply rooted in the Imperium's insatiable hunger for resources. This need stems from a combination of ancient history, relentless warfare, and the Imperium's vast and complex industrial machine. The origins of these colonies can be traced back to the earliest days of humanity's expansion across the stars, when the need to extract raw materials from distant planets and asteroids became a fundamental part of survival and conquest. Long before the Imperium's rise, humanity entered a period of rapid technological advancement and stellar colonization. During this golden age of technology, the exploration and exploitation of resource-rich worlds became a cornerstone of progress. Vast fleets of starships scoured the galaxy, establishing colonies on planets that offered valuable minerals, rare ores, and other vital elements. This era saw the development of advanced mining technologies and the creation of automated systems capable of operating in environments hostile to human life. However, this golden age was not to last. The age of strife shattered humanity's unity and plunged its colonies into chaos. Warp storms isolated planets from one another, cutting off vital supply lines and leaving many worlds to fend for themselves. On mining colonies, the loss of contact with governing bodies led to a descent into anarchy, starvation, and collapse. Those that survived did so through ruthless pragmatism, often reverting to primitive methods to maintain basic mining operations. By the time the Emperor united humanity under the banner of the Imperium, many mining colonies had been reduced to shadows of their former selves. The Great Crusade, which sought to reclaim and reunite humanity's lost colonies, brought mining worlds back into the fold. However, this process was far from gentle. The Imperium's need for resources to fuel its military campaigns took precedence over the well-being of these colonies. Planets with rich mineral deposits were swiftly brought under Imperial control, their populations conscripted or enslaved to serve the greater good. The technological advances of the past were often replaced with more brutal, labor-intensive methods as the Imperium prioritized production over efficiency or humanity. The unending wars that define the 41st millennium have only deepened the Imperium's reliance on mining colonies. The constant demand for weapons, starships, and war machines means that every available source of raw material must be exploited to its fullest extent. Planets rich in adamantium, promethium, or other rare substances are considered strategic assets, their value measured in terms of the war effort. As a result, the Imperium continues to establish and expand mining operations across the galaxy, often at great cost to both the environment and the people who inhabit these worlds. Another significant factor contributing to the rise of mining colonies is the nature of the galaxy itself. Many planets are inhospitable to life, their surfaces scarred by toxic atmospheres, extreme temperatures, or barren wastelands. Yet these same planets often contain vast reserves of valuable materials beneath their harsh exteriors. The Imperium, with its disregard for individual lives, sees such worlds not as uninhabitable, but as opportunities waiting to be exploited. Colonies are established regardless of the cost to human life, and workers are sent to extract resources under conditions that would be unthinkable elsewhere. The structure of the Imperium's governance further ensures the proliferation of mining colonies. The sheer scale of the Imperium requires a constant influx of materials to sustain its countless forge worlds, hive cities, and war zones. The Administratum, with its labyrinthine bureaucracy, calculates resource quotas with little regard for the realities faced by those who must meet them. This system perpetuates a cycle of exploitation, where colonies are pushed to their limits in an effort to satisfy demands that only grow with each passing year. Over time, the development of mining colonies has also been shaped by external threats. The Imperium is surrounded by enemies, from marauding xenospecies to heretical uprisings. These threats necessitate the creation of fortified mining colonies, where production can continue even under siege. In some cases, entire planets have been transformed into vast industrial complexes, their natural beauty stripped away in favor of defensive structures and extraction facilities. Ultimately, the existence of mining colonies is a product of necessity and desperation. The Imperium's survival depends on the relentless exploitation of the galaxy's resources, regardless of the consequences. This harsh reality has given rise to a network of colonies that span the stars, each playing its part in the ceaseless struggle to sustain the Imperium. These outposts are not the result of choice or ambition, but of a grim realization. Without them, humanity's grip on the galaxy would falter, and the forces of chaos, xenos, and entropy would claim victory. Thus, the foundation of mining colonies lies not in hope or progress, but in the Imperium's unyielding determination to endure, no matter the cost. The history of mining colonies within the Imperium is one of gradual evolution, punctuated by moments of stark upheaval. From their initial establishment to their current state, these colonies have followed a trajectory defined by necessity, adaptation, and relentless exploitation. Each stage in their development reflects the shifting priorities of the Imperium, the changing nature of the galaxy, and the unyielding demand for resources. The first step in the creation of a mining colony begins with the identification of a resource-rich world or asteroid field. Explorator fleets of the Adeptus Mechanicus, rogue traders, or other Imperium-sanctioned entities scour the galaxy in search of such locations. The process is lengthy and fraught with danger, as these operations often venture into uncharted or contested regions of space. Once a suitable site is found, initial surveys are conducted to determine the viability of establishing operations. These surveys assess not only the quantity and quality of resources, but also the challenges posed by the environment, such as hostile conditions or native threats. Once a site is deemed viable, the Imperium mobilizes resources to establish the basic infrastructure of the colony. This involves the deployment of construction crews, servitors, and automated equipment to prepare the planet or asteroid for habitation. Temporary shelters, extraction machinery, and landing zones are set up first, often under the harshest conditions imaginable. During this phase, the workforce is brought in, typically consisting of conscripts, indentured laborers, or penal workers. Their survival is secondary to the rapid establishment of operational facilities. As the colony takes shape, it transitions from a makeshift outpost into a fully functioning industrial hub. Centralized extraction facilities, refining stations, and storage depots are constructed, allowing for the efficient processing and transport of raw materials. Habitation zones are expanded to house the growing workforce, though these are often rudimentary and overcrowded. During this phase, local governance begins to take form, typically under the strict oversight of the administratum or a sanctioned trade cartel. These governing bodies enforce production quotas and maintain order, often with brutal efficiency. Over time, many colonies experience a period of expansion as the initial veins of resources are depleted and new areas are opened for mining. This expansion often requires the construction of additional infrastructure, including rail systems, tunneling networks, and orbital platforms. The workforce is expanded, drawing in fresh waves of laborers to replace those lost to exhaustion, accidents, or disease. In many cases, the expansion also involves increased militarization, as the colony becomes a target for Xenos raiders, heretical insurgents, or rival factions. Defense systems are fortified, and local militias are trained to protect vital operations. Despite the Imperium's best efforts to maintain control, the harsh realities of life on a mining colony often lead to periods of instability. Labor strikes, resource shortages, and environmental disasters are common occurrences. In some instances, entire colonies have been wiped out by seismic activity, toxic spills, or sudden collapses in tunnels. When unrest arises, the Imperium responds with swift and decisive action, deploying arbites or military forces to suppress dissent and restore order. These interventions often leave a lasting impact on the colony, reinforcing the oppressive atmosphere under which the workers live. As the years turn into decades, many mining colonies face a gradual decline. Resource deposits become harder to access, extraction costs increase, and the environment suffers from relentless exploitation. The workforce grows weary, and the colony's infrastructure begins to show signs of decay. In some cases, the Imperium deems the colony no longer viable and orders its abandonment, leaving behind a desolate wasteland of broken machinery and empty tunnels. Other times, the colony is repurposed, its remnants incorporated into new operations or converted into a fortress to serve other strategic purposes. For those colonies that endure, life continues in a cycle of toil and survival. Generations of workers are born and die within the confines of the colony, their lives defined by the unchanging rhythm of extraction and refinement. The colony becomes a world unto itself, shaped by its isolation and the unique challenges of its environment. Traditions, superstitions, and local customs emerge, offering the workers a semblance of identity amid the monotony of their existence. Throughout this process, the mining colonies remain an integral part of the Imperium's vast machinery. They provide the raw materials that fuel the Imperium's endless wars, the foundation upon which its military-industrial complex is built. Yet this comes at a tremendous cost, both to the environment and to the countless lives sacrificed in the pursuit of production. Each stage in the development of these colonies reflects the Imperium's philosophy of ruthless pragmatism, where efficiency and survival are prioritized above all else. In the end, the story of the mining colonies is one of endurance in the face of overwhelming adversity. From their initial establishment to their inevitable decline, these colonies serve as a microcosm of the Imperium itself, a relentless, unyielding force that persists no matter the cost. This unending cycle of creation, exploitation, and decay is a testament to the Imperium's capacity for survival and its willingness to sacrifice anything to secure its place in a hostile galaxy. A pivotal event in the history of the mining colonies came with the Imperium's formalization of a doctrine that forever changed their purpose, structure, and the lives of those who inhabited them. This was the introduction of the Universal Resource Extraction Mandate, an edict issued by the Administratum in response to mounting resource shortages during one of the Imperium's most prolonged and devastating conflicts. This mandate was not just an administrative adjustment, but a wholesale transformation of how mining operations were conducted across the galaxy. The mandate's purpose was simple yet brutal: to ensure the uninterrupted flow of critical materials to the Imperium's war machine at any cost. What followed was a sweeping overhaul of mining colony governance, resource management, and workforce structure. Previously, many colonies operated with a degree of autonomy, shaped by local conditions and overseen by appointed governors or trade guilds. With the mandate in effect, such flexibility was eradicated in favor of centralized, top-down control directly dictated by the Administratum. This shift brought about the establishment of an intricate network of logistical oversight. Data streams transmitted quotas to every colony, detailing specific extraction goals measured down to the ton. Failure to meet these quotas was no longer tolerated, as the penalty for underperformance escalated to draconian measures. Entire colonies that fell short risked mass executions, forced labor conscriptions, or even planetary-level purges to reset productivity. The fear of such consequences drove the workforce to their limits, stripping away any semblance of humanity from the operation. The mandate also introduced a new class of enforcers, resource compliance overseers. These individuals, drawn from the ranks of the Administratum, Mechanicum, or even Ecclesiarchy, were given broad authority over the colonies to ensure compliance with the new edict. Their presence often signified an immediate escalation in tensions. The overseers were known for their ruthless efficiency, employing harsh methods to root out inefficiency, dissent, or sabotage. Their arrival on a colony was rarely met with relief. Instead, it served as a stark reminder of the Imperium's unyielding expectations. Another critical change brought by the mandate was the widespread implementation of resource maximization protocols. Colonies were required to adopt more aggressive extraction techniques, often ignoring environmental sustainability or the long-term viability of the site. Operations that had previously balanced productivity with a modicum of restraint were now pushed into overdrive. Deep core drilling, mass detonation mining, and other hazardous methods became standard practice, accelerating the depletion of resource veins while exponentially increasing workplace hazards. The workforce itself was restructured under the mandate. Where once there had been room for specialized roles or limited upward mobility within the labor hierarchy, the new system reduced workers to interchangeable units of productivity. Labor shifts grew longer, safety protocols were ignored, and any resistance was met with swift and brutal reprisal. Penal workers and conscripts became the primary labor force, their lives treated as expendable assets to meet the Imperium's endless needs. Recruitment drives swept through hive cities and backwater worlds, filling the colonies with an endless supply of desperate or unwilling individuals. The psychological impact of the mandate was equally profound. Workers who had once clung to fragments of hope or ambition now found themselves trapped in an unrelenting cycle of labor and despair. The rigid quotas and ever-present overseers crushed morale, creating an atmosphere of paranoia and resignation. Communities that had once formed among the workforce dissolved under the weight of fear and mistrust, leaving individuals isolated and broken. The introduction of the mandate also deepened the militarization of mining colonies. As resource production became increasingly critical, colonies were fortified against external threats. Defense systems were expanded, and garrison forces grew in size and authority. This militarization further alienated the workers, as they were now under constant surveillance and control not only from their overseers, but also from armed guards. Any sign of dissent or rebellion was met with overwhelming force, ensuring that the colonies remained firmly under the Imperium's control. The Universal Resource Extraction Mandate remains one of the most defining changes in the history of the mining colonies, reshaping their role within the Imperium. While it succeeded in addressing the immediate resource crisis, it did so at an incalculable cost. The lives of countless workers were sacrificed, the environments of entire planets were devastated, and the colonies themselves became grim symbols of the Imperium's cold pragmatism. This pivotal moment cemented the mining colonies as the unrelenting engines of the Imperium's survival, a legacy that continues to echo across the galaxy. The mining colonies of the galaxy have had an undeniable impact on the Imperium, shaping its economy, military capacity, and the daily existence of billions. These colonies serve as the foundation for the production of raw materials, ensuring the survival of the Imperium's vast infrastructure. However, their influence extends far beyond mere logistics, reverberating across every aspect of galactic society, governance, and warfare. First and foremost, mining colonies provide the essential resources that power the Imperium's war machine. Without the constant flow of materials such as adamantium, ceramite, and promethium, the construction of tanks, void ships, and weapons would grind to a halt. This dependency makes mining colonies one of the Imperium's most critical assets, often treated with the same strategic importance as hive worlds or forge worlds. Entire campaigns and military operations are sometimes planned with the sole purpose of defending or recapturing resource-rich colonies, demonstrating their value to the greater galactic order. The colonies also play a significant role in shaping trade and supply networks across the galaxy. Materials extracted from the colonies are transported via massive convoys of cargo ships, which navigate dangerous trade routes to deliver their precious cargo. These supply lines are lifelines for sectors that rely on consistent resource deliveries. Disruptions to these routes, whether from Xenos raids, warp anomalies, or internal strife, can lead to cascading failures in production across multiple systems. The vulnerability of these supply lines has led to the deployment of naval escorts and the establishment of fortified way stations to protect critical shipments. The Imperium's reliance on mining colonies has also influenced its labor and population policies. The massive demand for workers has created a constant cycle of conscription and relocation, as millions are sent to colonies to replace those lost to exhaustion, accidents, or disease. This process has had a profound demographic impact on hive worlds, agri-worlds, and other planets, draining them of able-bodied individuals while simultaneously creating a transient workforce with little connection to their origins. The resulting shifts in population dynamics have led to overcrowding in some regions and labor shortages in others, further complicating the Imperium's already strained governance. The environmental consequences of mining colonies have left a lasting scar on many planets. The aggressive extraction methods employed to meet production quotas have turned lush worlds into barren wastelands, poisoned atmospheres, and destabilized planetary ecosystems. These environmental changes often render the colonies uninhabitable once resources are depleted, leaving behind lifeless husks that serve as grim reminders of the Imperium's exploitative practices. In some cases, these devastated worlds become the perfect breeding grounds for chaos infestations or Xenos invasions, creating additional threats to the Imperium. The social structure of the Imperium has also been shaped by the existence of mining colonies. The harsh conditions and brutal hierarchies within these outposts have reinforced the Imperium's culture of obedience and sacrifice. The dehumanizing treatment of workers serves as a stark example of the Imperium's disregard for individual lives, reinforcing the notion that service to the Emperor outweighs personal suffering. This mindset has spread beyond the colonies, permeating the wider society and further entrenching the Imperium's authoritarian values. On a larger scale, the existence of mining colonies has influenced the strategies and priorities of the Imperium's military and political leaders. Wars have been fought over resource-rich territories, and alliances have been forged to secure stable supplies of critical materials. The presence of mining colonies often dictates the deployment of fleet assets, the construction of fortifications, and the allocation of resources to specific sectors. This strategic focus has led to a galaxy-wide competition for control over resource nodes, with rival factions and Xenos empires vying for dominance over the Imperium's most vital lifelines. The cultural impact of mining colonies cannot be ignored. Within the colonies themselves, workers develop unique traditions, myths, and belief systems shaped by their harsh environments. These localized cultures often differ significantly from the broader Imperial creed, creating pockets of distinct identities within the galaxy. While some of these traditions offer a measure of solace to the workers, others become a source of tension as the ecclesiarchy seeks to enforce spiritual conformity. The presence of mining colonies has also fostered a degree of economic dependency among certain regions of the Imperium. Planets with limited natural resources rely heavily on the imports provided by mining colonies, creating imbalanced relationships that often favor wealthier or more strategically important worlds. This economic disparity reinforces existing inequalities within the Imperium, creating resentment and fueling dissent among the less privileged sectors. Finally, the mining colonies serve as a microcosm of the Imperium's broader struggles and contradictions. They exemplify the relentless pursuit of survival in a hostile galaxy, the willingness to sacrifice countless lives for the greater good, and the unyielding determination to endure at any cost. Yet they also highlight the Imperium's inefficiencies, its disregard for human life, and the environmental devastation that accompanies its expansion. The legacy of the mining colonies is one of both triumph and tragedy, a testament to the Imperium's resilience and the immense price it pays for its continued existence. Mining colonies within the galaxy of Warhammer 40K are rife with unique and fascinating aspects that make them a frequent subject of discussion among fans. These details extend beyond their role in the Imperium's vast machinery, delving into the peculiar technologies, rituals, and operational quirks that define their harsh realities. While these colonies are primarily industrial centers, they are also microcosms of human ingenuity and adaptation, showcasing how life persists under some of the most extreme conditions imaginable. One of the most striking features of mining colonies is the intricate and often ancient machinery that dominates their operations. Many of the tools and devices used for resource extraction date back thousands of years, originating from the golden age of technology or earlier. These machines, maintained by the Adeptus Mechanicus, are both marvels and nightmares of engineering. The Mechanicus treats the machinery with a religious reverence, performing elaborate rituals to ensure continued functionality. The constant clash between the need for efficiency and the Mechanicus's strict adherence to ritualistic maintenance often creates tension on the colonies, as breakdowns can lead to severe delays and even loss of life. Another notable aspect is the sheer scale of the operations. On many colonies, mining is not limited to surface-level extraction, but extends deep into planetary crusts or asteroid cores. Massive drill platforms, some the size of cities, bore into the ground, while subterranean complexes stretch for miles, creating labyrinthine networks of tunnels and shafts. These underground systems are not only treacherous, but also serve as a breeding ground for rumors and myths among the workers. Stories of unexplored tunnels leading to ancient ruins, long-lost vaults, or forbidden Xenos artifacts circulate frequently, adding an air of mystery to an otherwise bleak existence. The colonies are also known for their use of specialized tools and vehicles designed for specific environments. On worlds with high gravity, for instance, mining equipment is reinforced to withstand immense pressure, while on airless moons, sealed environments allow for uninterrupted operations. One of the more exotic technologies employed is the gravitic stabilizer, used to prevent tunnel collapses on unstable planets. These devices, while invaluable, are prone to failure if not meticulously maintained, leading to catastrophic consequences when they malfunction. Unique to mining colonies is the phenomenon of industrial luminescence. Due to the lack of natural sunlight in many deep space operations or subterranean environments, artificial light sources become a necessity. Over centuries of exposure, some colonies develop bioluminescent fungal ecosystems that thrive in the damp, dark conditions of the tunnels. These fungi, while a small comfort to workers, can also become a hazard, as certain species emit spores that are harmful when inhaled. The relationship between the colony's ecosystems and their industrial operations is an ongoing struggle for survival, with nature adapting to human exploitation in strange and often unexpected ways. One of the most hotly debated aspects within the fan community is the fate of colonies that encounter something beyond their understanding. While resource extraction is the primary focus, mining operations occasionally unearth ancient artifacts, dormant Xenos life forms, or even traces of forgotten human civilizations. These discoveries are often met with a mix of fear and curiosity, as the Imperium's standard response is to suppress or destroy anything deemed heretical or dangerous. The potential for forbidden knowledge or powerful relics beneath the surface of a mining world is a tantalizing mystery, fueling speculation about the true scope of what lies hidden across the galaxy. Life on the colonies also sees the emergence of unique cultural practices among the workers. Over generations, these isolated communities develop their own languages, traditions, and superstitions. Many colonies celebrate rituals tied to their survival, such as offerings to the machine spirits of their tools or prayers for safe passage through unstable tunnels. These practices, while often dismissed by the Mechanicus or the Administratum, serve as a coping mechanism for workers living in constant peril. The blending of imperial faith with local beliefs creates a fascinating tapestry of customs that are as diverse as the colonies themselves. Additionally, the colonies are infamous for their black markets and underworld economies. The harsh conditions and limited resources create a thriving trade in contraband, from illicit substances to stolen supplies. Smuggling networks operate beneath the surface, taking advantage of the chaos and lack of oversight. While officially condemned, these activities are often overlooked by overseers desperate to maintain productivity, provided they do not interfere with resource extraction. Lastly, one cannot overlook the strange psychological effects of prolonged exposure to such isolated and oppressive environments. Workers on mining colonies often report vivid hallucinations, paranoia, and other mental health issues stemming from the claustrophobic conditions and unrelenting monotony. These psychological phenomena have given rise to speculation about the influence of the warp, particularly on colonies located near unstable regions of space. While the ecclesiarchy and Inquisition frequently dismiss such claims as superstition, the possibility of warp-tainted colonies adds another layer of intrigue to their already grim existence. The unique aspects of mining colonies are a testament to the resilience of humanity and the extremes to which the Imperium will go to ensure its survival. These outposts are more than just centers of industry. They are living, breathing entities shaped by technology, culture, and the ever-present specter of the unknown. Fans of Warhammer 40K continue to explore the mysteries and complexities of these colonies, drawn to the blend of science fiction, horror, and human perseverance they represent. Among the countless individuals who have shaped the realities of life on the mining colonies, some stand out for their exceptional influence, whether as overseers, leaders, visionaries, or symbols of resistance. These figures, often products of the brutal environments they inhabit, leave a lasting impression on their colonies and sometimes even the wider Imperium. Their unique qualities, motivations, strengths, and weaknesses highlight the spectrum of human potential and frailty in these unforgiving settings. One type of figure who rises to prominence is the iron-fisted overseer, a person whose reputation is built on ruthless efficiency and unrelenting dedication to quotas. Such individuals often embody the Imperium's merciless priorities, balancing the need to maintain order with the impossible demands of production. Their strengths lie in their ability to motivate through fear and maintain tight control over the workforce, but their weaknesses are equally glaring. The uncompromising nature of these overseers often fosters resentment among the laborers, and their inability to adapt to unforeseen challenges can lead to catastrophic failures. These individuals are frequently despised by their workers, yet their results ensure they are rarely questioned by the administratum or trade cartels. In stark contrast to these enforcers are the rare and often unsanctioned worker leaders who emerge from the laboring masses. These individuals gain respect not through authority granted by the Imperium, but by earning the trust and loyalty of their fellow workers. Charismatic and resourceful, they provide a sense of hope and unity among the oppressed. Their strength lies in their ability to inspire and organize, often devising innovative solutions to local problems or finding ways to mitigate the harshness of life in the mines. However, their position is precarious. They walk a fine line between assisting the workforce and attracting the ire of the overseers. Those who are deemed too influential or subversive are often executed, disappearing without a trace. One legendary category of figure in the history of mining colonies is the rogue trader magnate, individuals who have leveraged control over particularly lucrative colonies to amass extraordinary wealth and influence. These traders are ambitious, opportunistic, and utterly ruthless in their pursuit of profit. Their strength lies in their ability to navigate both the dangerous political landscape of the Imperium and the challenges of operating in remote and hazardous environments. However, their ambition often blinds them to the long-term consequences of their actions, whether it is the depletion of resources, the collapse of worker morale, or the ecological destruction of the colony itself. Some of these rogue traders are celebrated as pioneers, while others are remembered as destroyers who left only desolation in their wake. Another significant figure type is the eccentric Mechanicus Magos, often tasked with maintaining the arcane machinery of the colonies. These individuals are defined by their deep knowledge of technology, but their methods and priorities are often inscrutable to those around them. Their strengths lie in their unparalleled expertise and their ability to push machinery beyond its limits to achieve remarkable results. However, their obsession with technology often blinds them to the human cost of their actions. Many magi view the workers as mere components in a larger machine, expendable and replaceable. This detachment frequently puts them at odds with the workforce and other colony leaders, creating tensions that can escalate into full-blown conflict. On the more enigmatic side of colony leadership, there are shadowy figures who operate in secrecy, such as underworld leaders or black market kingpins. These individuals thrive in the lawless and chaotic underbelly of mining colonies, building networks that smuggle contraband, hoard resources, or even foment rebellion. Their strength lies in their adaptability and ability to exploit the cracks in the Imperium's rigid systems. However, their activities inevitably draw the attention of the Arbites or the Inquisition, and their power is often short-lived. These figures are simultaneously feared and revered by the workforce, as they offer an alternative to the oppressive rule of official overseers, but often demand dangerous or illegal participation from those who follow them. In the realm of faith, the ecclesiarchy occasionally produces fiery preachers who gain renown on mining colonies. These individuals, driven by unshakable devotion to the Emperor, serve as both spiritual guides and enforcers of imperial doctrine. Their strength lies in their ability to instill a sense of purpose and resilience among the workers, often using their sermons to frame their suffering as a sacred duty. However, their fanaticism can be a double-edged sword. Those who refuse to embrace the faith or who question the ecclesiarchy's authority are often labeled heretics, leading to brutal crackdowns. The preacher's unwillingness to tolerate dissent can exacerbate tensions and alienate portions of the workforce. There are also figures of tragedy who rise to prominence on the colonies, such as whistleblowers or reformers who seek to expose corruption and improve conditions. These individuals often possess a deep moral conviction and a willingness to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Their strength lies in their courage and integrity, but their weakness is the naivety of believing they can challenge the Imperium's vast machinery. Most meet grim fates, silenced before their voices can reach beyond the confines of the colony. Yet their stories live on as whispered legends among the workers, symbols of defiance against a system that seems unbreakable. Lastly, one cannot overlook the figures who embody the enduring spirit of survival found on these colonies. These are the nameless heroes, the miners who risk their lives daily to save their comrades, the medics who work tirelessly to heal the injured, or the engineers who keep the failing machinery running despite impossible odds. Their contributions may go unnoticed by the Imperium, but within the colonies, they are often the glue that holds these fragile communities together. Their strength lies in their perseverance and ingenuity, but they are burdened by the weight of a system that offers no reward or recognition for their sacrifices. These individuals, whether infamous overseers or unsung heroes, highlight the complexity and humanity within the grim machinery of the Imperium. They are reflections of a galaxy where survival demands both exceptional strength and profound resilience, and their stories resonate as testaments to the enduring spirit of those who inhabit even the harshest corners of existence. Mining colonies within the Imperium of Man are shrouded in countless mysteries and unresolved questions that continue to fuel debates among scholars, administrators, and the wider fan community of Warhammer 40K. These unanswered questions touch on topics ranging from the hidden histories of these colonies to the strange phenomena that often accompany their operations. Speculation and theory crafting about these enigmas keep discussions vibrant, reflecting the dark and unpredictable nature of life in the 41st millennium. One of the most enduring mysteries concerns the fate of abandoned mining colonies. When resource deposits are exhausted or conditions become too hostile, the Imperium often leaves these outposts to decay. What happens to the remnants left behind, both human and technological, remains a point of contention. Some argue that these derelict sites become havens for scavengers, rogue elements, or pirate factions, while others believe they are consumed by environmental collapse or overrun by Xenos infestations. In some cases, there are even rumors of long-abandoned colonies being rediscovered centuries later, still operational but occupied by mutated survivors or entities unknown. Another debated topic is the extent of archaeological discoveries buried beneath mining sites. As these operations dig deeper into planetary crusts or asteroid cores, they often uncover ruins or artifacts of immense historical or technological value. Questions arise over how many of these discoveries are quietly covered up by the Mechanicus or destroyed by the Inquisition to prevent heretical contamination. Fans and theorists speculate about the significance of these finds, ranging from evidence of lost human civilizations to remnants of Xenos species that predate the Imperium. What secrets have been erased from the records in the name of preserving humanity's safety? Theories also abound regarding the nature of mysterious disappearances reported on some mining colonies. Workers vanishing without a trace is not an uncommon occurrence, given the dangerous environments and the Imperium's disregard for individual lives. However, in certain colonies, the frequency and patterns of these disappearances have sparked rumors of more sinister causes. Tales of hidden tunnels leading to unknown realms, strange lights in the darkness, and unexplainable phenomena have persisted among the laborers. While some attribute these events to natural dangers or Xenos incursions, others whisper of deeper, darker forces at work, possibly tied to the warp or forgotten horrors buried deep within the rock. The relationship between mining colonies and the warp itself is another unresolved question. Many colonies operate in isolated systems near unstable warp routes or anomalies, where the veil between reality and the immaterium grows thin. Reports of psychic disturbances, mass hallucinations, and even full-blown possessions have been linked to these locations. Theories range from the influence of dormant warp entities to the possibility that intense human suffering in such places acts as a beacon for malevolent forces. How widespread these phenomena are and whether they are actively monitored or ignored by the Imperium remains unknown. A particularly contentious issue revolves around the efficiency of the Imperium's approach to resource extraction. While the Imperium prioritizes short-term gains to fuel its war efforts, many argue that this approach leads to significant waste and long-term consequences. The destruction of planetary ecosystems and the reckless over-extraction of resources are seen as unsustainable practices, yet no reforms seem possible within the Imperium's rigid structure. The question remains: how much of the galaxy's potential is squandered by the Imperium's relentless but inefficient exploitation, and what would be the long-term consequences if this system continues unchecked? The unexplored depths of some mining colonies also inspire endless speculation. It is well known that certain sites extend far deeper than others, often with vast sections left unexplored due to structural instability or strange occurrences. These depths are rumored to contain anything from long-forgotten technologies to traces of ancient battles or Xenos infestations. Some believe these uncharted zones hold the key to understanding the broader mysteries of the galaxy, while others view them as death traps best left undisturbed. The Imperium's unwillingness to dedicate resources to fully investigate these areas leaves their secrets tantalizingly out of reach. Another mystery involves the psychological toll of mining colony life. While the physical hardships are well documented, the mental strain and its causes remain poorly understood. Why do some colonies report disproportionately high rates of madness, hallucinations, or violent outbursts among their workers? Is it solely due to isolation and stress, or do other less tangible factors play a role? These questions are compounded by reports of individuals who seem immune to these effects, thriving in environments where others falter. What makes these individuals different, and could their resilience be harnessed for the Imperium's benefit? Finally, the role of mining colonies in the larger schemes of powerful factions within the Imperium is a source of intense speculation. Are certain colonies deliberately targeted by rival trade dynasties or mechanicus sects to gain an edge in the competition for resources? Do rogue traders manipulate local conditions to increase their profits, even at the cost of Imperial stability? And to what extent does the Inquisition monitor these activities, given the potential for heretical practices or corruption? The layers of intrigue and manipulation surrounding these colonies are largely hidden from public view, leaving only fragments for analysts to piece together. These unresolved questions highlight the vast complexity and depth of life on the mining colonies. They serve as reminders of how much remains unknown in the grim darkness of the far future, where the Imperium's sheer scale leaves countless secrets buried, both literally and figuratively. For fans, these mysteries provide fertile ground for speculation, storytelling, and debate, ensuring that the legacy of these colonies continues to captivate and intrigue. The mining colonies of the galaxy play a critical role in the Imperium's ongoing survival, but their long-term consequences and potential for transformation carry significant implications for the broader universe. These colonies are not merely industrial outposts. They represent the very essence of the Imperium's relentless drive to exploit its resources at all costs. As the galaxy continues to face mounting pressures, the future of these colonies will shape the fate of countless worlds, both within and beyond the Imperium. One major long-term consequence is the irreversible environmental damage caused by aggressive mining practices. Entire planets are stripped of their natural ecosystems, rendered barren and lifeless. Over millennia, the destruction of these worlds could lead to significant ecological imbalances in sectors where colonies operate. Worlds that once served as hubs for resource extraction might instead become liabilities, offering nothing of value and requiring defense against encroaching threats. The cumulative effect of this devastation may ultimately strain the Imperium's already overburdened infrastructure, leading to greater instability across its territories. The depletion of resources also raises concerns about sustainability. The Imperium's current model prioritizes immediate output over long-term planning, resulting in the rapid exhaustion of even the richest deposits. As more colonies are depleted and abandoned, the Imperium will be forced to venture into increasingly remote and dangerous regions to secure vital materials. This expansion into uncharted territories could provoke conflicts with Xenos species, uncover dormant threats, or overstretch the Imperium's logistical capacity. The relentless pursuit of new resources may also lead to deeper fractures within the Imperium itself, as rival factions compete for control over dwindling supplies. The socio-political consequences of life on mining colonies are another critical factor. The harsh conditions and oppressive systems on these colonies foster resentment and despair among their populations. Over time, this discontent could manifest as widespread rebellion, particularly in regions where colonies are clustered. Uprisings on mining worlds, while often localized and swiftly crushed, have the potential to ripple outward, destabilizing nearby systems and drawing valuable military resources away from other fronts. If left unchecked, such unrest could erode the Imperium's control over key sectors, weakening its ability to defend against external threats. On a broader scale, the exploitation of mining colonies reflects the deeper systemic issues within the Imperium. The rigid hierarchy and inefficiency of its governance perpetuate a cycle of waste and suffering that hinders innovation or reform. As the galaxy grows more hostile, the Imperium's inability to adapt may prove to be its greatest weakness. Without significant changes to how colonies are managed, the long-term viability of resource extraction as a foundation for the Imperium's survival will remain in question. There is, however, potential for change. While the Imperium is notoriously resistant to reform, the increasing strain on its systems could force a re-evaluation of its methods. Some theorize that advancements in technology, particularly within the Adeptus Mechanicus, could revolutionize mining operations, making them more efficient and less destructive. Automated systems, improved energy sources, or even rediscovered technologies from the Dark Age of technology might allow the Imperium to extract resources without completely annihilating planetary environments. Such advancements could also reduce the need for human labor, alleviating some of the suffering endured by workers. Another potential shift lies in the colony's role as focal points for innovation and cultural exchange. Despite the Imperium's oppressive control, the unique challenges of life on mining colonies often foster ingenuity and resilience among their populations. Over generations, these colonies could develop technologies, practices, or philosophies that spread to other parts of the Imperium. While such developments are often suppressed, they hold the potential to introduce incremental changes that could improve conditions across the galaxy. In the long term, the fate of mining colonies may also influence humanity's relationship with the galaxy's other inhabitants. As the Imperium continues to push into uncharted regions, it is likely to encounter new Xenos species or reawaken ancient powers. The exploitation of resources in contested areas could spark conflicts that reshape the galactic balance of power. Alternatively, the need for cooperation in particularly hostile regions might lead to temporary alliances or uneasy truces, offering glimpses of a more complex and interconnected future. The spiritual consequences of mining colonies cannot be ignored either. The immense suffering and sacrifice endured by their populations have a profound impact on the collective psyche of humanity. Over time, this could deepen the Imperium's culture of martyrdom and self-sacrifice, reinforcing its grim worldview. Conversely, the resilience of these workers could become a source of inspiration, with their struggles celebrated as a testament to humanity's ability to endure even the harshest conditions. This duality underscores the complex legacy of the colonies and their enduring significance to the Imperium's identity. The future of mining colonies also raises questions about humanity's broader destiny in the galaxy. Will the relentless pursuit of resources eventually lead to the Imperium's collapse, or will it force humanity to evolve and adapt to the challenges of an ever-changing universe? The choices made in the management and exploitation of these colonies will shape not only the survival of the Imperium, but also its legacy among the stars. Whether as a testament to human resilience or a cautionary tale of unchecked exploitation, the story of the mining colonies will remain a defining chapter in the history of the galaxy. In the end, the long-term consequences of mining colonies extend far beyond their immediate purpose. They are a reflection of the Imperium's strengths and flaws, a microcosm of its struggle to endure in a hostile universe. As the galaxy grows darker and more uncertain, the role of these colonies will only become more critical, shaping the fate of humanity in ways that are both profound and unpredictable. Whether they become the foundation of a renewed Imperium or the harbingers of its downfall remains to be seen. But their significance to the future of the galaxy is undeniable.